Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Corner Office Chats with Maureen and Alexis. We are here weekly every Thursday at 1:30 Eastern, and we're talking about what the buzz is all about in our group, Women Who Lead. If you're not in our group already, Women Who Lead, you can find it in Facebook. So just type in Women Who Lead, answer the questions, we'll let you in. We're live in there every week, and we are in touch with everyone. And then we talk about, on Thursdays, we talk about what is everybody asking about? What are they dealing with? And so today we're talking about advanced productivity tips for entrepreneurs.
Yes. I mean, productivity is always a conversation, is always a hot conversation with anybody really in business. If you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, even if you are, a manager or an employee, we're always looking at ways to up our productivity. And you hear a lot of the same kind of things, which are great. And I think there's a lot of value in the productivity tips that you probably already know, and maybe you're doing, maybe you're not. But we want to take it to that next level today and really give you some advanced productivity tips that the vast majority of people aren't doing or focusing on, or maybe it's a way of thinking. So that's what we want to share with you today. And we've got 4 big ones to share.
Yes, the first one is systems over goals.
Yes, this is just massive, right? Like, goals are important, 100%. But there's a lot of conversation on just, what are your goals? Stay in tune with your goals. And here's the thing. You need to have goals so that you know the direction that you're moving in. You need to know, so you can have some organization. But the problem with goals, and the biggest problem, is that they have an endpoint, right? So in other words, you're not successful until you've reached the end of that goal, until you've reached your goal. And until you've reached that goal, you may feel as though you're spinning your wheels and you're not really going anywhere, that you're doing a lot of things, but you're not really feeling that movement or that momentum or that progress forward, which can really just hinder our productivity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So measuring success this way can really make you feel defeated, especially when you have really big, ambitious goals that you're not going to, nor will anybody achieve overnight or, in a couple of days or in a day. Really, what are the systems that are going to get me to achieving those goals, and focusing on the system versus the endpoint, right? So an example, in your, let's just say even in your personal life, because this works for anywhere, you want to have you want to clean your house from top to bottom, right? That's the goal. But when we're focusing on systems, so what are the things you can put into place so that you have habits that support a clean, decluttered, or organized household, right? Because you could spend an entire Saturday organizing every closet, every pantry, scrubbing the floors, doing all the bathrooms. And then if you have kids like me, sometimes that same day, the house is back to being a mess, right? Versus, and so you feel good, you feel accomplished, you felt productive for the day, but it's very short-lived, right? So what are the systems you can put into place that maintain a more organized, clean, decluttered house, right? In business as well, you might have this huge revenue goal, but what are the things that you need to do to sell the product, to attract new clients? Maybe that is, spending your first hour of the day reaching out to potential clients.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, so working on those systems versus just focusing on the goal.
Right. So like when you're onboarding new team players to your team, for example, you want to build this momentum of productivity so that that they know what they need to be doing, what it is that you're doing. One of the things that Alexis and I do is we bring on a lot of interns periodically, and we love developing them, having them part of the team, and how to maintain it. Like, we can't be with them 24/7. We're all remote, like during the work hours, we can't always be there. But we've established a daily check-in that we spend 1 hour each day going through where we are with everything. And then we allot time for strategy as well. If we've got new things coming, what strategies are we going to put in place, and who's going to take ownership on it. This is really key for productivity if you're managing a team, so that everybody's on the same page. And then you can ask them what their thoughts are or what they are planning on doing next in that role, and if they have any questions about it. Because a lot of times they don't even realize that they may have questions on it until they're already in it. So you can kind of have them walk them through to you. This is what I plan to do. I'm going to go here. I'm going to work on this. This is my plan. It's setting them up for success. So you put a system in place for your team to be productive and producing the outcome and reaching the goals that you want them to reach. So same way that you would establish for yourself, you would want to establish that for your team players as well.
Yes, I love it. So number one, system over goals. Number two, work within your peak productivity time, right? There's a lot of, we were just talking about this, before this live, and we were talking about like morning routines, and that conversation always comes up, that 5 a.m. club. And that 100%, there is truth to that. There are people that can get, a day's worth done between the hours of 5 and 7 before the rest of the world wakes up. But that's not for everyone. Right? So I subscribe to, following your biorhythms and listening to your body. And when I can identify what is that peak productivity time for you. For a vast majority of people, it is that mid-morning, that 10 to noon, or even 9 to 11, like that kind of time. For a lot of people is when they feel mentally clear, they feel focused, they feel as though that mental energy is at its highest. But for some, it's later in the afternoon or even into the early evening. So figuring out what it is for you, and then choosing those kind of mentally strenuous or really important tasks that require, your peak mental performance, scheduling them into those times.
Yeah, this is great because when we're talking about time management, we'll say this time again. If been following us, there's no such thing as time management. It's really activity management. So you want to schedule in that time where you're managing that time to make sure that you're doing the important activities during that time. So establishing that, and if you don't know when is it that you're most peak, pay attention over the next few days. When is it that you're feeling ramped up and ready to go? When are you feeling the most clearest? When is it that you usually are in the zone? For some people, it's late in the evening, sometimes at night. Whatever that is for you, where you have quiet and you can get things done, that's when you want to do those hard things, the things that are the needle movers. You want to establish that time period to do those and make sure that those get done first. If you can do those first thing in the morning, that's the best, because you will already before noon feel accomplished, and now it's just downhill from there.
Awesome. Number three, master the art of distraction removal. This is key for entrepreneurs. And here's the thing is that, we're talking advanced. So yes, you have to have control over your social media, those types of distractions that pull us away. But what about the things that, you're spending that busy time on, but they're not actually the needle moving activities that are generating revenue in your business, that are allowing you to continue to master your craft, that are getting you clients, that are increasing your visibility or your exposure. So sometimes we feel really busy because we're doing a lot of things. It's not that we're lazy. We're not Netflix binging on a Tuesday afternoon. We're doing a lot of stuff, but some of those things are actually distractions that we have to, really get clear on, and be focusing majority, that 80-20 rule. 80% of your day should be on those needle moving activities, the revenue generating activities in your business. If it's in your relationship, right? If we're talking about our personal relationships or our health, when we have that time allotted, what are the things that are really going to count, and how can you spend, the time that you have, increasing your productivity in that area?
Yeah, we live in the day and age where we're constantly being, our phone is going off, our emails are coming in. And I want you to think about it this way. If you're the CEO of your life or your company, right? If you want to operate from that and be really high performing, don't allow other people's agenda to dictate what activity you're going to work on. What you can do is allot a time where you're going to go through your emails, and then have some kind of system, that number one that we talked about, a system in place where you can flag it to come back to it during another productivity. So you can schedule it into your for the next productivity time that you have, depending on when it's due, right? You can schedule in that activity, or you can delegate it even, right? So if you've got a team, you should even think about, first thing is, do I need to answer this? Is this something that I can answer right away? If it is, you can do it. Is it something that I can send off to somebody else to take care of? Then you want to forward it to them. If it's something that's going to take more than 2 minutes of your time, then plan it out. Put it on your calendar to work on at a different time. And if you need more time, feel free to just send them a quick note. Got your email, and I will be responding to you by the end of the week. Unless if you need it sooner, let me know. But right now it will be towards the end of the week. If you get it done sooner, great. Don't overcommit. Don't overcommit yourself and then stress yourself out. Be easy on yourself. Things will happen. You want to give that extra buffer. So if it's end of the week, it's end of the week.
Yeah, when I was in corporate, and I was a director of education for a college, and we went through an audit. So every couple of years, schools, institutions, they go through audits, and they're a really big deal, right? They can sometimes allow you to either continue operating or not. So you do have to take them really serious. And when I came into, I was a new director, or a director at a new company. And so I was still getting a feel for everything. And I needed to make sure that I was productive in the areas that counted. And so what I did to help master this distraction, because I was getting so many emails and the pinging was so distracting that I felt like, ooh, I better see, is that going to be an important email? I used my out of office alerts religiously. So when there was, the week leading up to our audit, it was basically on from 9 to 5, and I directed it to my registrar, who I work really closely with, but she would get the emails if there was something that was urgent. So it's not just, you hear that ding, or you see the alert coming up, the notification coming up. Even though we want to be as productive as possible, sometimes it's very powerful to even just pull our attention away. So I would turn off my notifications, and I knew that I set my office alert saying that I was busy all week. I was unable to, I wouldn't, be answering emails. If it was of an urgent nature, please contact so-and-so. That person worked in the office beside me. So I knew if there was something that really needed attention, she would get the email and she would come and let me know. So I didn't have to take up any mental space wondering if there was important things coming into my inbox. And the people around me that were messaging, requesting things of me, I was in communication immediately via the out of office alert. And I let them know exactly that I would not be getting this, this message until Friday, or I wouldn't be checking it until next week, or whatever the case may be. So, be strategic in your distraction removal, figure out what's pulling at your attention, and how can you just ninja slice it out of your life.
Yeah, and that's, goes back to number one, setting the systems in place for you to be productive. And what you're doing is, when you're managing a team, you're also teaching or leading your team to understand how to respect those boundaries, not only for you, but for themselves as well. When they're working on something, and if you're sending something and they're like, oh, I have to respond to this right away, you can even say that, this is not urgent. If you can just have it back to me by end of the week. This is really important, right? So we can also set them up for success, that they don't feel like every time they get something from you that they have to respond right away. If you can let me know by the end of the week, it allows them to powerfully set up their system to make sure it's done by the end of the week. So these are just a few things. If it's something urgent, then you let them know that, hey, I just sent you an email. We do need to get that response out, or we need to address it before the end of the day when you have a moment, so that they can manage their time. It's building that respect and influence for yourself and for your team. So we have a bonus one.
Oh, there's number 4.
Oh, okay. There was a fourth one. I'm sorry, I didn't have the fourth one.
Number 4 is plan your attack.
Okay.
So what we mean by that is that, again, getting to that advanced productivity, you are taking that 15 or 20 minutes at the start of the day to plan out your day. What exactly are the things you're going to work on? What are the things that you are going to focus on? What are those big needle moving activities that need to get done today? You're actually going to plan out your day, right? This is taking it to the next level. Most people will go into their business, go into their workday and say, okay, I hope I'm productive today. I've got lots of things on my plate, but they have no strategy for when they are going to, or no schedule for when things are going to happen. So instead of just saying I need to work on, A, B, C, and D today, let's hope that I get it done by 5 o'clock. We're saying from 9 until 10, I'm working on A. From 10 until 12, it's a big one, I'm working on B. I'm going to take my lunch break. And then from 1 until 2 is C. And then from 2 until 4 is D. Like, these are the things we're actually planning out our day so we know exactly what is on task for the day. And we keep ourselves on that schedule by honoring our calendar. This is that next level productivity where, like I said, most people have maybe a to-do list, have an idea of what they want to get accomplished for the day, but they don't actually set out the specific time for those activities to ensure that they're getting done and to ensure that you're giving yourself enough time to do those activities properly.
Yes, perfect. Great. So we talked about, just to recap before we have give you our bonus one at the end, is that first one we talked about is make sure that there's systems over your goals to make sure that you're achieving them. The next one that we talked about was work with your peak productivity time. So really getting in tune with what works for you and how you want to manage the activities and what time that works for you. 3 is master the art of distraction removal. So if it's turning off notifications, if it's removing your phone from your room, whatever that is, turning off that distraction, and letting people know that you're not available would be part of that as well. And then 4 is plan your attack. And then for bonus, let's talk about managing your energy, because if you don't have the energy, then productivity is pretty much non-existent, right? You'll be wanting to be in bed, take some rest. You can't even really think clearly. So this is your bonus, but it's very key for everything else that you're putting into place, that you manage your energy.
Yeah, this idea really underlies all of the other productivity tips you could possibly start to incorporate into your day. Next level, successful high performers, they know that the number one priority has to be them, their physical, emotional, and mental energy. And so whether that is, you're getting your sleep down, whether that is making sure that your nutrition is supporting your productivity, your, movement, hydration, all those things that we know we should be doing, are you making that a priority? Because if you're not, and this is the kind of relates to that concept of quality over quantity. Right? You could do all the things half-assed. You could do them all in a mental fog. The quality of your output is not going to be where it needs to be to get that momentum and that progress that you're after. So this bonus really is like that foundation under everything else. And if you're just starting, if you're in that startup phase, or if maybe you're a year or two in, you still feel like you're doing all the things. This is the piece that we forget, because we're like, I just got to get to this next milestone. I just got to make sure once I do this, then I'll take the break. I'll take the vacation. I'll eat better. I'll meal prep. I'll do all those things. But if you took one step back to make sure that you are really taking control and guiding your sort of energy management, you're going to propel yourself multiple steps forward, as opposed to just really pushing yourself through all of these milestones.
Yeah. And we can do a whole session on just managing your energy. And if that's something that you're interested in, comment below and say, I want to know more about how to manage my energy as a leader, and we will make sure that we get that on our next lineup for the Corner Office Chats. So if you liked today's episode on Corner Office Chats, you liked what we were talking about, put a heart or put I like this episode. Thank you so much for sharing down below in the comments. And tune in again on next Thursday at 1:30 Eastern. We'll have our next topic. If you're in our group in Women Who Lead, it's right up there in the banner. You'll know each week what's happening. If you want to be able to get notified when we're going live, so that you can join us and interact with us, then you want to send a text message, GSC, to 404-737-3299, and you will get a notification just about when we're going live so you can join us here. You can also book a call with us. We love chit-chatting with you all and bringing that information, whatever it is that you are doing. We share it with everybody in the group, and we incorporate that into our corner office chats. So have a 15-minute chat with us. Book a call at bit.ly/GSC meet, and Alexis and I would love to have a connection call with you. All right. Thank you so much, Alexis. Thank you, everyone. Bye.